All right, that is Mayor Randall Henderson of Fort Myers. Good luck to you and the residents there in Fort Myers and Lee County, as well as folks here in Collier County as well, as we're still waiting the approach of Hurricane Irma. We've been out here all morning long, and for the initial 3 or 4 hours, we had winds gusting now into the 40s, and now last hour we're having winds gusting over 63 mile per hour wind gust. The last recording at the airport here in Naples, which is about a mile or maybe even less from where we're standing here on the beach. And these are all the winds rotating in from the eastern side of the state, and those winds are coming straight off the Atlantic and slamming that southeast coastline, including Hollywood and Fort Lauderdale, even Miami. Let's check back in with Mike Seidel, who is still dealing with those strong winds and, again, sideways rain right now in the Miami area. How's it going, Mike?
Sure.
I'm not sure Mike can hear me with the strong winds and rain out there. But if you're watching us this morning, you've noticed that Mike isn't been getting the brunt of it, and that's what we kept saying. People on the East Coast or evacuated the Southeast were thinking, oh, it's not going to be that bad. It's going to be a West Coast thing. But that's what we keep telling you. Don't get caught up in the singular point of Irma. It is a huge storm, and we're seeing those strong winds coming in on the East Coast. So bottom line is, it is a very good thing that you did evacuate. Many areas there have lost power. Last check I saw, nearly 1 million customers without power statewide here in Florida. And again, 1 million customers could be perhaps a family of 2 or a family of 4, or maybe an apartment building of 300. So again, you can easily get those numbers of almost 1 million to well over 1 million in terms of actual people. Again, I think Mike might be able to hear me right now. And Mike, how long have you been in the thick of this in terms of the sideways rain and these very strong winds?
Yeah, well, we've been out here since 5 this morning, and the only thing that's changed is the wind has slowly ramped up. Now we're getting gusts up to and over hurricane force. Virginia Key is not far that way, off to our south, and over at the Rosenstiel School, University of Miami, they measured the gust last hour of 100 miles an hour. So this is about the worst of it. Now look on the radar. If you look down to our south towards Homestead and over southern Miami-Dade County, University of Miami, they measure darker reds and oranges of 100 miles an hour. So that is really going to be the brunt. That should be the highest winds we'll see as Irma continues to scoot farther away mileage-wise. But this is a large, huge gyre, a monster circulation, and that's why we're getting these winds. And look what it's doing to the inland waterway here, the bay, and it's blowing the water up the Miami River. I have no idea what the impact is farther west, but you can see it splashing over the decking here. We've lost about, oh, look at this. We've lost about 20% of the decking now. The water just coming up from underneath and just pushing these boards up. These high rises, boy, I bet they're getting quite a thrill up there. There are people that did not evacuate, that are up in those high rises. We could see them last night. Not many, but there are a few out there. And this wind is just ripping right through here. And by the way, I want to show you how we're staying safe. I just walk over here. And we're out of the wind. We've got our vehicles over here. We're tucked in under this very sturdy concrete building. This is why we picked this location, because it gives us great protection. We have power, and also we've got these terrific visuals we're giving you on the Weather Channel on this side and on the other side. So we appreciate the concern, but we're doing the best we can, and we're very safe back under here. It's like there's nothing happening. Very little rain, very little wind, but it's all blowing around us. And if need be, we just come back in here and get back into the protection. But I want to show you more of what's going on out here, because this is really amazing stuff. We'll pan back out. Chris Friedman, by the way, slipped a little bit a while ago. And I just took a seat there. And so you get back out here in the wind, and you can just feel the force. And the rain now coming in harder. Boy, it's stinging. And the waves, look at the waves crashing over the deck and up over this. There's a little water running down the street here. So we're getting into the thick of what is going to be the worst here in South Florida. Let's go back to Carl Parker in the lab, more analysis. And one thing I've heard much of lately are tornado warnings. I know we're still under a tornado watch till at least noon. They'll likely extend that. Carl?
Yeah, that's right, Mike. That's an ongoing threat. In fact, there is a tornado warning to tell you about right now for Palm Beach County, and that's now between West Palm Beach and Jupiter, and moving off towards the northwest right now. Possible tornado in that area, so you want to take cover right now. Now, let's take a look at the forecast track here from the Hurricane Center, and you see exactly why we've talked about the fact that you don't want to necessarily focus on the center, even though the center is where the very worst of the weather is. Obviously, the weather is well away from that center where Mike is in Miami, and that's the way it's going to be for the rest of the day today. We're looking for a Category 4 to either make landfall or come very close to it, maybe just moving along the coast, coming up towards Tampa into overnight tonight, and that's when it's likely going to be still a major hurricane and then weakening slowly as it continues up towards the Florida Panhandle. And here you see that forecast track, and also we've got the area of strong winds. So the tropical storm force winds extending well out, a couple of 100 miles from the center in any direction, well outside of that core of strongest winds. Hurricane force winds there in red coming right up into the Tampa area and into the Big Bend area of Florida, and those hurricane force gusts extending across much of the state right through tonight and into tomorrow morning as well. Very large circulation now coming up across the Keys. It did officially make a landfall there. There is still now an extreme wind warning in effect for tornado-like winds in the lower and middle part of the Keys, and then up into South Florida we go. Winds now gusting to 67 miles per hour in Pompano Beach. You look at the velocity data, all of this blue color is showing you where you've got winds of 100+ miles per hour. Now that's aloft, and as you get farther away from the radar site, which is right there, you get up to 1,000 feet, a couple thousand feet, a few thousand feet. But it gives you the idea that there's a lot of wind that is aloft right now, and so where you see these heavier bands, that's where that momentum can be transferred down to the ground. That's now coming up into South Miami-Dade, into Homestead, exceptionally strong wind.